Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to our online class. This is our Google Plus and also on YouTube, our Hangouts tonight. We're going to talk about Essential Oils 102, which is really, I titled it Beyond the Basics, but really it's going to be more of just the basics. For those of y'all that don't know me, I'm Ann Williams, and I have been using Young Living for about 4 years now, and so I just want to share with you some things tonight. Hopefully y'all are seeing this, just a few little technological things. This is my first time to run the Google Plus side of it and teach the class, so bear with me. I actually have a friend that's supposed to let me know if she can't see it, so hopefully y'all can see this. Hopefully y'all are watching this. Just a few little housekeeping details. There is a little bit of a delay between my live version and what you're seeing. That shouldn't be a problem. If you're seeing me now, it's usually like 20 seconds to a minute, I think. So if you're seeing me now, it should be fine because you're going to see just a little delay. But then when we do the Q&A, I will give, at the end of that, I will give kind of a final call for questions and then wait 30 seconds to a minute to make sure we get all those in. So let's see, what else should we talk about here? Oh, if for some reason this doesn't work and you can't see this, I will record the class separately and post it to YouTube. So no worries, it'll still be on YouTube. Either way. So hopefully you're seeing me live now, but if not, then we'll get that on there too. So this, if you're not used to Google Plus, if you're watching actually from Google Plus, you have the option to do the Q&A. I think, let me see here. Yes, I can see that now. So you should see that on the right side of your screen, I think. I've never watched this as a participant. I've only been actually the teacher of this. So I can see it on my right side of my screen. I can see questions. You can't participate via, you're not in the Hangout with me as far as talking, but you can type in your questions. If you are on YouTube, you're still watching this live, but you won't be able to ask the questions there. But hopefully we'll answer some of your questions tonight. And if not, then if you were on that Facebook event, feel free after the class to post any questions that I don't cover on there if they didn't get answered. So I'll do my best. I'm going to do, one thing about the questions that I learned recently is, I believe if you can see them, I believe what you can do is you can +1 them. And that's what Google, it's kind of Google's version of liking something, like on Facebook or Google+. So if you see that, and it's a question that you had as well, then maybe see if it'll let you do that, +1 it, and that will prioritize the questions. If I see one that has +10 or actually, I don't really know how it works. Maybe, I don't know. But if it has more likes on there, if you will, then I'll try to get to those first. What I will do with the Q&A is get to that at the end of the class. So I'm really going to try to keep this to an hour. I do have notes here because I could talk a long time, and especially about oils. I love talking about Young Living. So I'm going to try to keep the bulk of the class to an hour or less, and then we'll have some time for Q&A. What I will do so after the class, just so you know, this will automatically upload to YouTube. I will more than likely make the video private for the rest of the evening, and maybe even through tomorrow morning while I edit it, because I'm going to cut out the Q&A, and then depending on how long it goes, I'll cut that out. And then I'm also going to add some links in that we talk about. I can go in and add that to the actual video so that you can see links and places I talk about. Then I will make it public again, so you can forward it on to your friends, and it'll be a great resource hopefully for you and for friends and family that are just starting to getting started with Young Living. Let's see. Okay, I think we talked about that here. So just so you know, so you know if this is a class that is something that you need. Let me just check here real quick. Okay, great. This tonight is really going to be for those of you who have been to an introduction class, who've been to a Young Living Introduction to Oils class or watched online. Maybe you have your starter kit already. Hopefully you do. So you've gotten your kit, and maybe you are like me. When I got my kit, I thought, what do I do with this thing? I have all these great oils, and I had a diffuser. Actually, mine, when I joined, it didn't come with a diffuser, so you guys are lucky that it does now. We had to send in a coupon to get the diffuser later. But I had these oils, and it's such a different mindset. It's such a different way of thinking about health, and so it's kind of scary. And we're going to talk about this book tonight. We're going to go through the Essential Oil Desk Reference. I'm going to show you how I have it tabbed and how to break this down and make it a little bit easier, a little bit less overwhelming. But I had a book similar to this. I actually have the bigger version of this. Excuse me, not the this pocket version. I didn't know that this existed, and so I bought the bigger one. And I look through here, and I find an ailment or something. I find an oil that was recommended, and it wasn't an oil I had. And so it's real easy to get overwhelmed and think, well, I don't have what this needs. Because when we're still thinking kind of like allopathic medicine, there's a medicine for each specific ailment. And so it's a different way of thinking. So tonight we're going to talk about those. I get questions all the time, frequently asked questions that people say, I have a really silly question. Here's, I don't want to ask this, but here's the question. And so we're going to go over all those little silly questions, all those things that people are afraid to ask, but just like how to fill a capsule. What do you do when it says mix 1 drop to 4 drops of olive oil? I get asked all the time, how do I get 1 drop of olive oil? How do I get that out? And does it have to be exact? How to mix oils. We're going to talk about, we're going to go through the references, the desk reference I mentioned, as well as a few of my other favorites. I want to share with you some online resources to get you started, and when you're trying to figure out what to do with your oils and you're sharing with others. We're going to talk about the secret lingo of oils. I feel like with any new job, with any new hobby, with any new lifestyle change, and that really is what Young Living is. It's a total lifestyle change, or it's an addition to a healthy lifestyle, I should say. With any of those things, you have a new lingo to learn. I am actually, in my former life, I'm a speech therapist, and I worked in the schools in special ed, and we had acronyms for everything. And if you were an outsider and came in, it would make no sense. It made sense to us perfectly well, but it makes no sense to anybody else. And so that is true of the oil world as well. Sometimes you'll hear people talk about neat versus diluted. You'll hear carrier oil, different terms. So we're going to go over those, and talk about what some of those terms are and how you can kind of decipher that. We're going to talk about, so I talked about frequently asked questions. We're also going to show you how to use this thing, this diffuser here. I know that seems like a simple thing, but I get told probably once a week, I got my kit, I haven't even gotten out my diffuser. And it makes me want to gasp, because this is such a great tool to use. If you're not using this, I mean, you have it there, but if you're not using it, it's super easy to use, and it's also just such a great way to get oils into your in your home and in your family, and throughout the night while you sleep, just to purify your home. So I'm going to walk you through a little visual demonstration. I know that seems silly, but a visual demonstration on how to use that and some of the questions I get about that. We are going to talk about where to get some of my favorite supplies as far as containers. How do I store my oils? What do I mix them in? Just different suggestions for that. When does it really matter to have glass versus plastic? That's a question I get a lot. Or does it have to be amber glass versus clear glass? We're going to talk about those things. Talk about how to store oils. That's and then where to get those. My favorite places to get those supplies. And then we'll wrap it up with talking about some of my favorite oils, some of my all-star oils outside of the kit. I have broken that down into some that are under $30 and then some that are over, as well as supplements, things like that. So we'll briefly go over those and then talk about how to get you on Essential Rewards so you can start earning benefits when you reorder or when you order some of those extra products. So, all right, let's get started here. So I talked about the Q&A. About the Q&A. Please, please, please keep your questions to the scope of this class. So if you have questions about just basic use of oils, how to use a diffuser, about containers, anything like that, that's great. But please, please do not ask me, my aunt so-and-so has this specific condition, what do you recommend for that? I can't do that because I'm not a doctor, and so I cannot give you that advice. And even if I were a doctor, actually that's not something that even physicians can do via the internet typically because of licensure. So I can't do that, but what I can do is equip you tonight with some resources where you can go and look up those things. In this book alone, every oil has a specific medical properties of it. It has different conditions that you can look it up by condition, you can look it up by each oil and the medical properties. So you have the tools then to go figure that out yourself. So just so you know, if you should ask a question like that and I seem to ignore it, that's why. So ask anything you want, just know that there's certain things that I can and cannot answer. So that takes me to just a general disclaimer, and that is that I'm not a doctor, like I mentioned. I cannot, so the purpose of Young Living and the purpose of the class tonight is not to diagnose, treat, cure, really to talk about diseases in general. It's to share with you my personal testimonies, my personal knowledge, just that I've learned through personal use, as well as I'm going to be sharing all the information in this desk reference is all from published studies that have been done, from research studies that have been done on essential oils, some of those on specific to Young Living, some of those just essential oils in general. And so we're going to, everything I share is based on that. Again, please do not hear what I say tonight and run and get off your medicines. That is not the purpose of this. If that's something you want to do, talk with your doctor, talk with your healthcare provider, whether that's a natural person or an MD, and share with them those desires to get off of medicines and replace oils, and many are willing to work with you on that. So just not the purpose of tonight. Just want to make sure that's clear, as well as we're only talking about Young Living products and oils tonight. That is not because of a big sales pitch. That is because those are the only oils that I feel confident sharing with you about, that I feel confident in their purity and their potency. If you've watched the Introduction to Oils class, online, I have one online. You can either see it on my YouTube. I believe it's actually not one of my videos. A friend, Melissa Detmer, did the video, and I taught it, and she did the actual class. But I believe I've liked it on. I don't understand technology that much, but I've liked it on YouTube, so I think you can see it from my page as well. Or if you found us via the Facebook event, I linked to that. Or if you've been to a class in person, you know that. You've heard about the seed to still guarantee that Young Living carries. So I'm not going to go into detail about that tonight, but basically Young Living can guarantee the purity from the time they pick out the actual species of plant, the species of the lavender, for example, which is so important to have even the right species of plant. You want to make sure it's not a hybrid lavender. You want to make sure it's true, pure lavender. So from the time they do that until the time that they actually seal the bottle, that's the seed to still process, that whole process is overseen and is done in a very pure, beyond organic way. So I'm only talking about Young Living. So please do not run out and go to the health food store and buy some of the oils we talk about and try to use them in the same way. Okay, let's talk about some basics here. So many of you probably have this book. This is the Essential Oils Pocket Reference Guide. It is published by Life Science Publishers. You can see the LSP down here. And you can go and actually, if you don't have this, you can order this probably on Amazon. I don't know what the cost is there. You can also get it on Life Science Publishers. The cost of this is around $25. Well, it's $25 online and with plus shipping. Many people I know, like myself, this is a gift we give to I give this to my team members who sign up with a premium starter kit, because I just feel like it's that valuable, and it's something that I'm willing to spend my money on for new people, because you really have to have this. But I'm kind of a nerd. I like to read textbooks. I like to get in there and underline. That's just, I guess that's just my research brain. But not everybody's wired that way. And so this can be overwhelming to some people. So what I've done here, you can see, I'll just put it close to the screen. You probably can't read it anyways, but these are just sticky notes. You don't have to be fancy. You can get real nice tabs if you want, or you can get these. And there's different sections of the book. And I have to confess that I have been using oils for 4 years, well, almost 4 years, and I just recently, in the last 6 months, learned that there is a handy directory in the front. So don't take as long as I did to figure this out. This list has all the single oils listed in here, so you can find the page number, as well as in the blends, and then the personal usage directory. This is what is really invaluable, because in the back section, so I'm going to show you the back section here, this last, sorry, I'm not very good at showing here, this last section of the book is pretty thick. This is all the personal usage section. This is where you would look up something specific. So if you have a cold, if you have congestion, you would look it up in here. The problem is it's not exactly organized the way I would organize it, and so sometimes I will look for, say, eczema, and I'm looking under E when really it's under S for skin conditions. So that I would spend so much time looking through there trying to figure out how it's organized when it's all in this directory. It's still organized that same way, but it's at a glance. So you can find it, find the page number, and find what you're looking for. This next section is really, I titled it, What Are Essential Oils? So this goes into, it's a short little section, and this really has all you need to know. It is from page 1 to page 28. If you read through this, you will be quite the expert on essential oils, on their history, on what they are, why they're effective, kind of how they have, they've been around since the beginning of time, because they do, like we've talked about in other classes, they come from plants. but there's been periods of time when they're not used as widely. And in our country right now, they're really having well, and all over, but they're really finding a resurgence within the last 20 years. And a lot of that is due to Gary Young, who founded Young Living. He has just spent countless hours researching and studying under the masters in France and all over the world. But you can read this and find all about how they would help you, what they are. The next section is safe usage, is what I've titled this. And it says how to safely use essential oils. This is going to talk about, like I'm reading here, it says storage and usage. It has a list of oils right here that are, see that, certified as GRAS. That is a, I guess, FDA term. I'm not sure, government term that stands, oh, FDA. Yes, this says FDA right here. That are generally regarded as safe. And so this actually, they have made this list to even food additives as well, not necessarily even just pure essential oils. But you can look at that at a glance. You can go in and see this section. It says here chemical sensitivities and allergies. So topical application, diffusing. It gives you all the information you need on how to safely use your oils. It's going to give you probably recommendations for different conditions and what would be safe to use for that. Then the next section, single oils. This is a great section. This goes through every single oil that Young Living carries. Actually, that's not complete. Well, I'm trying to think if there's some single oils out. The ones that just came out at convention and the blends are not in this book yet. So there's even more that are actually in here. So there's so many products that Young Living carries. But this is going to have the single oils, and I'm going to just show you. Let's see. Let's find. This is clove right here, and you can look. I don't know if you can see that or not. I'm sorry if this is not working, but you can see clove, and you can see it has medical properties, and it has application methods, uses. It tells you all you need to know there. It also gives you the key constituents in there. And you'll hear us talk about, that's one of those lingo things, is constituents. Constituents are the properties of the oil that make it active. So if you've ever heard of the word menthol, that is one of the constituents in peppermint. And that is one thing that makes it therapeutic to you. Well, that menthol needs to be within a certain percentage range in order for it to have the maximum therapeutic benefit. And so this in here, it talks about the top constituents, the percentage that they need to be within. So in clove, the first one is eugenol, and it needs to be within 75 and 87%. And so you can be assured that Young Living will not sell a bottle of oil if it is not within this percentage range. Every batch of oil that Young Living produces or they distill is tested, not only in-house but by third-party testing. So you know that it's going to be within those ranges and it's going to have the maximum therapeutic benefit. The next section is oil blends, and that is so you have some blends in your premium starter kit. You have things like lavender and lemon. Those are single oils. In the kit, you have purification and thieves and peace and calming. Those are blends. So there's a blend of different single oils. A general rule of thumb to figure out if it's a blend or a single is if it's a plant name, so lavender, lemon, peppermint, lime, orange. If it's actually a plant name, then that's a single. If it is a name that, like peace and calming, there's no plant called peace and calming, then it's probably a blend. And you can, this tells you in here, let's see here. So brain power, that's one we're going to talk about tonight because that's one of my favorites. It lists here the different oils that are in there. So the ingredients are sandalwood, cedarwood, and it goes on to list all of those. It gives a little description, again, about each oil. And what I like about this section is it talks about the benefits of that single oil as it pertains to this blend. So brain power is talking about oils that help stimulate the brain. And so this is going to give some different ways that frankincense specifically, or sandalwood, is really good for the brain. So there's that section, and then there is a section here in the middle. What did I title this? Oil application. And that may not be the best, most creative term for that, but this has different techniques. It has the raindrop technique in here. It shows the auricular points, which is points on the ear. It's also going to show you your Vitaflex points. You probably have heard of that from your intro class. And there's points on the feet where you can apply these. Feet or bottom of the feet are a great place to apply. And so it has this chart in here. You can look all through this. It also has points on the hand as well. So this is a handy little section. It goes into detail on there's physical relief and emotional release, raindrop technique. It goes into an explanation of it, and then it shows you how to do it. So if you want to do it at home, you can do that. You can get the kit. And the last section, which is my favorite, is the personal usage. And you can go through and look at, like I said, any specific condition. It'll give recommendations. It'll list different single oils. It'll list different blends. And so what I do is I look up something and I'll see what are those oils I have. And if I believe, I'm not 100% sure on this, I believe that they are listed by the first recommendation to the last recommendation as far as effectiveness against that. So I'll just try to grab some that I have. If I don't have any of the single oils, then I like to look and see if I have any of the blends. One of the things that is handy, and I should have mentioned this, in the single oil section, this is something I did not know for a while, and I'm going to find one here for you. Let's see, cedarwood, okay? So cedarwood, it tells you at the very bottom, this is the page on cedarwood, and at the bottom it says found in. So this is going to list all the different products that Young Living carries, whether it's a blend, whether it's a personal care product. What else would this be? Most of these are personal care products. Where you, in different blends, where you would find that blend, that oil. And so if you don't have cedarwood, but let's say you had brain power, you're going to get the benefits of cedarwood if you're trying to maximize the effectiveness, or maybe you see several oils that you want to use and you can't afford to buy all of them. Well, you can look and see if they're in a blend. So it's kind of a little bit of research there. But this is a great tool to use. Everybody needs to have this. Super handy. Some of my other favorites, and I'm not going to go into these as in depth, but are Gentle Babies. This is actually an old edition, so if you have one, the newer edition looks different, but it is the same. Deborah Rayburn is the author. You can get this on Abundant Health for You. That's the number 4 and the letter U.com. And I will, when I go and edit this, I'll put all those links in there to these places that I'm recommending. I'm going to talk a lot about Abundant Health for You because I get a lot of my supplies there. And this is another handy reference book that I really like. It is by Connie and Alan Higley. Also, they are authored also through Abundant Health for You. And they have a small version. They have a big version. They're very cost effective. I think the big version is around $35, and the small version is around $15 or $16. But it has a lot of different conditions you can look up versus the Blue Book. So very handy companion to that. Okay, so those are my favorite book resources. My favorite online resources are, and I almost forgot the most important one on here. So I'm going to start with that one actually. There are a group of Diamond Leaders with Young Living, 4 ladies who started a Facebook page and a website called ylfasttrack.com. And their Facebook page is YL Fast Track as well. And they have just blessed us so much with their knowledge and with their willingness to do calls, 30-minute calls. I believe they do 2 a week now. And half of the calls are on oil usage, and half of them are on the business side of Young Living. Young Living is, and again, I'm not going to go into detail on this, but it's a fantastic company to, if you just want to buy them wholesale for your family, that is great. That is the way Young Living is set up. But there's also great opportunities to replace an income or to even just get your oils paid for. And so a lot of their calls are on that as well. But I have learned so much from these ladies just listening to the calls. And again, I've been using oils for 4 years, and I still feel like I continue to learn in just listening to these. They're all recorded. You can find them on the Facebook page, or you can go to ylfasttrack.com. If you want to listen to their audio recordings, the password is ylfast. But I highly, highly recommend that. They're easy to listen to. They're recorded, so you don't have to listen live. You can listen to them in the car. I just actually was driving this weekend and had some time and listened to that. I'll put them on while I'm cooking dinner and just listen to a 30-minute call. Very handy, great learning. oil-testimonials.com. So a little hyphen in the middle of there. And that is a website you have to register for, but it's free. There's different levels, but really the free version will give you everything you need. And you can go in there and type in you can type in an oil name, you can type in a condition, you can type in anything, and it will pull up testimonies that people have posted. So when I first started using oils, my first ailment that I was actually kind of excited to have so I could try my oils was pink eye. And so I thought, well, I looked in the reference guide, and I don't even know if I had the reference guide then actually. I may not have even gotten that in the mail yet. But I looked on oiltestimonials.com, and I kind of looked at the different testimonies and got a general consensus of what people used, and decided to try. For me, I tried purification, and it worked. I've also tried lavender, and it worked. I have friends that have tried Melrose, that have tried lemon. So the great thing about that is oils are so versatile, and so what works for one might not work for you. So Oil Testimonials is a great place to go on and see, just kind of get an idea where to start, what to try. And okay, here. Okay. Sorry, pause for a moment here. I have a message. I'm hoping that the technical is working. Okay. All right. So ylsearch.com, that's another one that you can get on, and you can search anything. You search lavender, and it'll pull up all different articles online about lavender. That's ylsearch.com. Check with your upline, your sponsor. So in Young Living is a network marketing company, so sometimes we use terms like upline and downline, sponsor, enroller, things like that. But check with your sponsor. That would be the person that you use their, whose referral number you used to join Young Living with. Check with them and see if anyone in your team, in your upline, has a group, a Facebook group. Our team has one for anybody on our team. We have about over 1,000 members, so if you're on our team and you're not on there, let us know. Let's get you on there. Check with your sponsor, though, and see, because that could be an invaluable place, not to ask for medical advice, not to necessarily use instead of the reference book, but to have as a place to see what other people are doing, to throw out your testimonies, your stories. It can really be a great community. YouTube, you can search on, just search Young Living there, and you can find a lot of different leaders have posted different videos that they've done. I've learned a lot there. One of the leaders, Melissa Pepping, she's one of the ladies who does the WOW Fast Track. I just recently watched some of her videos, and they're fabulous. There's another leader who I actually don't know personally, but Jen Springer has a lot of videos. Those are just two that come to top of my mind. So, and I hope to do more of these as well that will be on YouTube, so you can learn those. And then Vimeo. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but Vimeo. There, if you search Young Living Corporate has done some videos on there. The Seed to Seal video. I think some of the videos from the different leader events will be there from convention, but that's a great place to go as well for education. Okay, so secret lingo. So some of the things that people talk about in oils that can be very confusing are how to use your oil. So you've heard the term neat, and you've heard the term diluted. Basically, neat means when you use an oil straight out of the bottle. So if I were to take my cedar wood right here and take it in, move the video screen a little bit here. If I were to drop it straight on my wrist, for example, just take it and drop there and rub it in. That's neat. I used it straight out of the bottle. Young Living oils are safe to use like that. Sometimes you'll hear that they're not, but they are very safe to do that. That doesn't mean that that's how you need to use them. Diluted does not mean less effective, and that is a common question I get is, well, if I dilute it, am I going to get less effect? No. Basically, that's just spreading it farther if you dilute it. So if you want to make your oil stretch longer, if you want to get more use out of them, you can dilute them in a carrier oil. We'll talk about that in a minute. But neat oil, if you look on the back, it'll say, this one says dilute 1 drop of cedar wood with 1 drop of V6 or olive oil. V6, people ask me all the time, is do I have to use V6? Do I have to use olive oil? Those are just suggestions. V6, this is not V6 here, this is Orthosport, but V6 is a bottle, looks like this. It is a proprietary blend of 6 different, so vegetable 6, V6, 6 different vegetable oils that Young Living carries that it's just a great carrier oil. Carrier oil is a fatty oil. So if you think of your cooking oils like olive oil, grapeseed oil, coconut oil, any of those are fatty oils. If you were to put them on your hand or put them on a piece of paper, they leave a residue. Essential oil, pure essential oil does not leave a residue. So when we talk about oils, there's essential oils and then there's fatty oils. When you dilute this, one of the biggest mistakes newbies make is diluting an oil with water. Water does not dilute. If you think about oil and water like an olive oil and water, they don't mix. It's the same thing with essential oils. Even though they're not fatty like that, they don't mix together. So if you've ever tried to put oil in your water to drink it, you'll see the little, that you might, if you stir it around and shake it up, you'll see it break up into tiny little drops, but it's not, it doesn't actually mix in with that. So if you put on, let's say you were to put thieves on, or peppermint, say you put peppermint, for example, on the back of your neck, and it feels really too strong for you, do not grab a washcloth or water and wipe it down there. That's going to spread it. That's actually going to make it feel worse. What you want to do is grab something like olive oil. I had a lady tell me once she used peppermint when she was in there drying her hair, and it just lit her neck on fire. And so she grabbed her argan oil, with argan, something like that, whichever, the oil that you use to put in your hair, and she used that to dilute it. Anything fatty you can grab, whether that is milk, a nut milk. If you're at the restaurant and all you have is butter, grab the butter and put it on. Even if you look silly, smear the butter in your eye because you got oil in your eye. That is what dilution means when you mix an essential oil with a fatty oil. And for little kids, for babies, that is recommended. In fact, in Gentle Babies, in this book, she recommends for babies a 1 to 30 dilution all the time. Babies do not need the same strength that an adult would of an oil. So great way to do with kids if you're putting it on a real sensitive area of the body. Instead, the bottom of the feet is not very sensitive. If you're putting it on your neck, for example, here, or maybe around the ear for an earache, that's going to be real sensitive. So the back of the oil says, this one says dilute 1 drop with 1 drop of V6. When it's a 1-to-1 ratio like that, or if it says dilution not required, you know that it's not going to be a really hot oil. People talk, that's another term that people use. Hot just means it's going to be sensitive to your skin. Peppermint is actually considered a hot oil, but it's more of a cooling sensation. It's more of like an icy hot kind of thing. So some of these oils, for example, let's see, Christmas Spirit. Oh, I don't have Thieves in here, but let's say Thieves, because you have that in your kit. Thieves is going to say dilute 1 drop with 4 drops of V6 oil. That lets you know that that is a hotter oil because it's actually the ratio is higher. You're basically doing a 25% essential oil in your mixture, and so that lets you know it's going to feel a little hotter on your skin. So use those as a guideline. One of the questions I get all the time is, how do I get that? Like I said, how do I get 1 drop of olive oil? You can use a dropper like this. You have these. You can use a little, this is a glass dropper. If you want to be exact and get 1 drop, but you really don't have to. It's really just an approximate. It gives you an idea. This dropper, you can buy these, or this is just a little tincture from Whole Foods that I had that we took a long time ago. I saved these. They're glass bottles. You can pay money for these, or you can be frugal like me, and you can save these and then reuse that glass dropper in there. Or this is actually, we'll talk about this later, but a great thing to mix your oils in because it's glass. Okay, so dilution. I'm going to miss something here. Let's see. I get the question, where do I buy carrier oil? People are kind of afraid. They say, well, surely I can't use what I cook with. Yes, you can. Grab it out of the kitchen. One of the best places to buy carrier oils is in the cooking section, is where they have all the cooking oils. You can also find some in the supplement section, like a Whole Foods or Sprouts or any kind of health store. Jojoba, almond, grapeseed, any oil like that is going to work. Any good quality fatty oil will work. I would steer clear of, say, like a Wesson or a canola oil like that, because those are actually not necessarily that healthy for you and very processed. So any kind of healthy oil. If you have a nut allergy, obviously steer clear of the almond, but you probably know that already if you have that. How do I mix and store oils? So, okay, we're going to show some of my favorite containers. I showed you this. Again, you can buy these on Abundant Health for You or probably Amazon, or you can, if you're like our family, we have a lot of different herbal tinctures that we have used over the years, and I just saved these. I also love, let's see where I have everything here. Lots of different glass containers. This is a container. There's three different sizes of this, I believe, on Abundant Health for You. It just has a little lid here, and it's a glass container. You can mix, so I might make like homemade lotions or salves, or maybe I make up like a homemade vapor rub in here with some like beeswax and shea butter, and then mix my essential oils, and you can put that in here. This is also great if you are using something daily on your kiddo or your family and you want to pre-mix it up ahead instead of having to mix it every time. This is a great thing to do. If I'm just doing a one-time mixture, I might put it in my hand. Just put the carrier oil in my hand and drop it in there, and just swirl it around. But if I'm going to use it all the time, I'll pre-make a bunch. One other thing I like, so this is actually one you can buy, like I showed you. This is a dropper bottle. It's just smaller, but it has the little dropper there. You can buy several different sizes of that. Let's see, where is my roller? I'll get back to that. I have a roller bottle. Well, they're just like, here it is, right here. So you can buy empty roller bottles like this on Abundant Health for You, again, Amazon. I'm sure there's lots of other places. And I have this labeled carrier oil. So I'll put this in my purse with my other oils, and I keep this, it's just B6 in here. So if I should use an oil when I'm out somewhere and it's hot on my skin or someone else, I can whip this open, I can rub it on, and you'll see there's a little roller top on there. These come apart, like they come with this out of it and this separate. You put the oil in there, you pop it on, and a little trick of the trade here, tip of the trade here, is that if you try to push this in, it's really hard to push it in all the way. But and this is true of these as well. This is the Young Living, you can see that. The Young Living one that came in your starter kit. If you try to put this on an empty bottle or on one of your bottles of oils, it's really hard to push all the way on there. So what you want to do is get it as far as you can, and then do the top on like this, and screw it all the way till it clicks. And you'll hear a click there. You will have less of a click with these empty ones than you will with the Young Living ones. But and then it's sealed. If you want to take it off once it's empty, little trick is to unscrew it all the way. Again, this is true of the Young Living as well. And just work it back and forth until it snaps off, so you don't ruin your fingernails with that. And get that, you don't have to use pliers or anything and ruin the roller bottle. So roller things are great. I like to keep some of these on hand. This is a little dram. Actually, this is, I think, a 2 dram maybe. But this is a little sample bottle. It comes with these little orifice caps here, and then a lid. There's a little lid to go on that. And I like to use those to give out to friends. This is a 2 milliliter size, and then there's smaller than that, there's bigger than that. Those were great to send to my daughter to camp. I didn't want to send her a whole bottle, so I put some in there. I put a little label on the top. And that is another thing I want to show you is this is a sheet actually from Abundant Health for You, but Young Living carries these as well. So next time you place an order, you can add that on. It's under the accessories tab on the website, I think. But they have all different these labels. I'm going to show you some of these. And so you can label the top of your bottle, and you probably saw that with the cedar wood that I did that. So you can identify it really easily. I like to store my oils in a drawer. I actually have them all over the house. Not really, they're all over. I have them in my girls' rooms. I got them a little just decorative container from a craft store, and that matches their personality in their room, and we keep their particular oils in that. And with these on top, it's really easy to just grab what you need. Have some in a drawer. I have some, and I'm going to try to do this without spilling anything. I bought a little container like this at, I got this at Container Store. You can get these at Target, Walmart, I'm sure, any store that carries organizational products. And that's a great thing. I have some deep drawers, and so that fits in my drawers. You can get as creative as you want organizationally. I've seen people do nail polish racks on the wall, and as well as like a medicine cabinet, like the decorative, old-fashioned medicine cabinet you put on the wall. Or I've had people whose husbands have made them special racks for the wall. Just get as creative as you want. But let's see, other containers I like. Another thing that I like to keep on hand is nasal spray containers. They do, again, all these things I got on Abundant Health. You can fill it up, and it just squirts like a, not Visine, but a, I don't know, nasal spray bottle. Just squirts out there. You can make some great mixes with this. One of the most popular mixes a lot of people like to use is a sinus salt rinse, and it's just some sea salt and some different essential oils to help clear out your sinuses. And you can do that in a neti pot, or another great way, if you're not a big fan of the neti pot, is to use a nasal spray bottle. These come in glass. They come in plastic. I tend to use, so I don't usually put citrus oils up my nose, and so the glass is not as big of a deal to me when I'm using just like lavender or something in there. I will say, so citrus oils break down plastics, but my kids and I actually did an experiment with an egg carton, and we put different oils in the bottom of that to see if it would eat through the styrofoam. The citrus oils, obviously, and the oils with the blends in it, so Thieves, Joy, Peace and Calming, they all have citrus oils in them. And they did break it down pretty quickly, but even peppermint did. And I was always putting peppermint in my plastic cup, and so I don't do that anymore because it took a little longer and it didn't make the hole all the way through, but it did eat away at a lot of those petrochemicals and the styrofoam. So, decide which one to do, glass versus plastic. This right here is a linen spray that I made. I actually made labels for the ones I gave away. I didn't for myself or my own, but this just has lavender and water in it. And it's a great little spray. You can actually, I think I actually mixed in a little bit of vodka in this for an alcohol. That gives it a medium to actually blend with, and then you put the water in. Otherwise, if you don't use anything like that, like a witch hazel or an alcohol, the oil doesn't blend with the water, so you would just need to shake it every time you use it. This is a great little container I like. I showed you that Young Living little roller fitment. They come in the starter kit, so you have one of those. They also come in a pack like this. You can order more. It's a great thing once you go through some bottles and you have empty bottles, that the roller fitments are great because you can save those empty bottles and you can make up your own roll-ons. If you are a fan of Pinterest, there are tons and tons of homemade recipes on Pinterest and DIY recipes. I've seen people make insomnia blends, make immune blends. We've done that with our family. That is a great way to reuse those bottles. Just clean them out, or even you don't even need to clean them out. Let's say you have a Thieves bottle, leave a few drops in there, add in whatever you want in there, and then pop the top on there. Add a little carrier oil, pop the top on, and you've got a great handy roll-on for your family. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's any other. Let's see. Oh, so I showed you this bottle. You cannot, this container here, I've also used the small mason jars. And the big ones are kind of big to make up mixtures, but I've used they have little tiny mason jars, and I've mixed up some lotion in that. One other thing I forgot to bring up here is I like to make my own chapstick, and you can do that with living oils. It's very simple. I'm sure you can look on Pinterest and find a recipe for that, but you can get those tubes as well. And so I've mentioned the Abundant Health for You. I will put that link in this video so you can see that. That is where I get a lot of things. I know that some health food stores carry some of these glass bottles, and if you're in a pinch and you don't want to order it, they're a little more pricey, but you can get them there too as well. Veggie capsules. This is another thing. This is actually, again, from Abundant Health for You. You can tell I did a bulk buy on a lot of stuff. But Young Living carries these. They've had a hard time keeping these in stock, so if they're out of stock, you can find, I guess you can't really read that on there, veggie capsules. You can find these on at health food stores usually. They're usually on an end cap at the end of an aisle. But these are great for taking internally. And I'm going to show you, I should have opened this ahead of time. But one of the questions I get a lot, and I told you I have notes here because I'm really not sticking to them. I need to stay more on topic here. But so how do you fill a capsule? This is a question I get a lot. Two things, two little tricks you can do. You can do what I do, and you can just, you open it up, and then you would take the oil. I'm not going to actually fill this because I don't need to take one right now. And then you can just put it right here and drop the oil straight in. And I'm going to show you a little trick. Let's see if you can see it on here. You probably can't see it on here. Let's see how close I can get there. I probably can't see that on here. Maybe. There's a little tiny hole. Oops, I'm dropping it out of here. There's a little tiny hole under the big hole. I didn't know this till recently. I just learned this in the last few months. That big hole is actually where the air goes in. There's a little tiny hole. If you look real closely, it's a little pinhole. That is where the oil comes out. So if you're trying to fill it up, or you're trying to get an oil out, especially one like maybe a vetiver or a myrrh that are thicker consistency, and you're trying to pour it out and it's not coming out, try turning it around to where that little hole is on the bottom. Huge difference for me. That I honestly had no idea about that. So another way you can do this is to, let me get one that's not hot so I'm not smelling like that. I'm going to get my cedar wood, and you can pop off this cap here, and you can do that pretty easily with your finger. Pop it right off, and then you've got an open bottle here. You don't want to spill it, but you can do this. You can take your, too many things going on here. You can take your glass dropper here and stick it in here, get your oil out, and then take that, a little bit more multi-step process here, take that oil and drop it right into the capsule like that. So that's another way you can do that. If you try doing it out of the bottle, and the first few times I probably spilled oil on the counter too. So there's a couple ways you can do that to fill a capsule. And these just pop right back in, and then put this on here again. Make sure you always screw your lids on tightly. Make sure they're not too tight, because I've seen a lot of people have the lids crack because they just use all their strength and tighten those on there. But you want to make sure that they're tight, because the oils can evaporate, and that you've got to make sure that you don't want the oils to evaporate, all the molecules. So, all right, we talked about the dropper. So we talked a little bit about following the ratios. You don't necessarily need to follow the ratios exactly. That's kind of a guideline, so don't stress if it's not exact. What I do in my, if I'm making a mixture of, say, Panaway or Thieves or something that requires that calls for a 1:4 dilution ratio, I don't count drops. I will just put it into about, let me turn it here, put it into about a fourth of the way with the essential oil, and then just fill the rest up with the carrier oil. So that gives me kind of a visual of about a fourth of that needs to be essential oil. Okay, I had the question the other day, do I put carrier oil in the diffuser? And the answer is no, do not do that. Some of the oils have, like Valor, already have carrier oil in them. That's okay. I've actually diffused those, and it hasn't ever clogged my diffuser, but do not, you don't need to dilute the oil when you put it in the diffuser. Yeah, okay, we'll get to that in a minute, sorry. We talked about roller bottles, talked about capsules. Okay, let me show you, speaking of the diffuser, let's go ahead and do our little how-to. Again, this is very simple, but a question I get a lot, and a question I didn't have this model at first. I had it since I joined 4 years ago. I had a much older model, but I was filling it wrong for a long time, so I did not know this. All right, so you just take this top off. If you have this purple one, I have the green one back here going. If you have the green model that's been out recently, it's the same thing. It just looks a little different. You take the lid off, and in here, if you can see in there, there is a, okay, this is backwards. Sorry, there's a fill line right here. You'll see in there, there's a line that runs around there, about ½ an inch from the top. That's your water fill line. You do not want to overfill that. That's what I was doing with my old one, and I didn't know why it wasn't working all the time. This down in the bottom, there's an ultrasonic plate. This is what actually makes it diffuse the oils. This is what makes it work without heat. Excuse me. So sometimes that can get caked up with oils after use, after oils like thieves and such. It comes with that, and I don't have it up here with me, but it comes with that little yellow sponge-like thing. That is a fantastic way to get in there and clean that out. You can just kind of twist it around and clean that out. Someone asked me today, how do you clean the diffuser and how often do you clean it? I don't clean mine that often. What I do after I've diffused, so it has an automatic shut-off. It'll get down to the bottom. Close to the bottom, there's a little bit of water left in there. I usually dump that out. You don't necessarily have to. You could just refill it up and put more oil in. But I tend to dump that out after every, I don't know, 4 or 5 uses. I'll just wipe it out. Or if I use an oil that kind of discolors it, that has like a citrus oil to it or something, then I'll take a paper towel and wipe that out. But basically, you want to fill it up to that fill line. You want to drop your little essential oil, and you want to drop in however many drops you want. There's no set amount. The book said, I think the instruction manual says quite a few drops. You can just play around with that. You can use a lot less if you want to make it go longer. But then you put the lid back on, plug it in, and push the button here. I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe if you push it twice, that turns the light off. I know on the green version you cannot turn the lights off. On the purple one you can, which is great. I don't believe there's a timer on this, but I may be wrong. I'm not always a manual reading girl. I like to read the research books, but I haven't actually read through the manual on this. So please do that. But as far as just general usage, get it out and use it. If you have this, do not let it sit in the box. That's my big plug there. Okay, let's see. So favorite oils outside of the kit. I'm going to share with you some of my favorite. I had a really hard time breaking this down to some of my favorites. But I'm going to share with you some of those that are under. We're going to start with ones that are under under $30. So you already have a powerhouse of oils in your everyday kit. You have oils for immune boosting, for any kind of muscle soreness, aches and pains that you have. You have some for calming, for anxiety, for just all kinds of things. So you've got a great selection of oils if you got the premium starter kit. I always recommend that kit because the other ones, you just don't have any oils. You have pretty much one oil and some samples. So you've got that. You've got some great oils. But when you want to start adding to that again, some of my favorites are, and I've been showing you a lot, cedarwood. Cedarwood was a lifesaver for our family. My youngest daughter kind of got in a bad pattern of waking up in the night. She just wanted to be close to us. She wasn't really scared or anything, but she was waking up a lot. And I think what that did was kind of mess up that melatonin, serotonin cycle that you go through, and she just continued in that pattern. And I had actually been using cedarwood with my other daughter for a while for some brain health things because it's great for brain health. And I don't know why I didn't think of using it for her because it's also fantastic for sleep. And it can help your body naturally produce more melatonin. It doesn't have melatonin in it. It can help your body produce that naturally. And so I diffused that in her room. This is after months and months of us being up in the night. And she slept through the night that night. We did it again the next night. She slept through the night. And after a couple weeks of that, it's almost like it had reset her body. So sleep, huge, huge, huge for sleep. Cedarwood is great for brain health, like I mentioned. It's high in a constituent that is one of the smaller molecules. The sesquiterpenes is the fancy name. But basically, they can get through the blood-brain barrier and they can affect the brain. So this is great for kids with any kind of focus issues. Great for any kind of attention struggles for kids. It's great for sleep. I know people use this for snoring. Cedarwood, yes. Rub it on the big toe. They rub it on the top of the head. Great for hair growth, so you can double whammy there. You can, if you have a husband who's balding or bald, you can rub it on their head and then hopefully stop the snoring for the night. So cedarwood, all of that for the walking wholesale price of $11.25. So one of my favorites. It's very affordable, just great to have on hand. Melrose. Let's see. I don't even know if I brought that one up here. I don't think I have that with me. It's in one of my many places I keep my oils. Melrose is great for skin issues. It has 2 of the melaleucas. If you've heard of melaleuca, that's the fancy name for tea tree. If you've heard of tea tree oil. So this has 2 species of melaleuca. It has clove and rosemary. Clove, no, maybe not clove. I'm sorry, forget that. It has rosemary, and I I think, Chloe. I'm questioning myself. But it is great for any kind of skin issues, for any kind of scrapes that you get to cleanse the skin. It's a great antiseptic. It is great for any kind of fungus issues you have, maybe like a fungal issue on the toe or fingers, or even internally if you have some kind of like overgrowth of yeast in your body. It's great to help with that. Also really good for earaches and ear infections. Again, you probably heard this in the intro class, but I feel like it needs to be said again. You never, never, never pour an oil in the ear or pour it in the eye. You can use this around the ear. You can use any oils like on a cotton ball and stick it in the ear, but never, never pour it in there. And Melrose is $17.75 wholesale for a 15 ml bottle. The 15, and this is another question I forgot to answer. 15 ml bottles have about 250 to 300 drops, depending on the thickness of the oil. And then a 5 milliliter, which is what you have in your kit, they have about 80 to 100 drops in there. So a lot of drops can go a long way. Orange oil, another inexpensive oil. Here's my orange. This is my favorite lately. Not only does it smell great, it tastes great. This is my favorite in the water. This or lime. It's very uplifting to your mood. But this also, orange, you can tell, I'm sure. There have been some studies recently showing its ability. If you use this topically, 6 drops a day, it significantly boosts the body's glutathione. And that's a really fancy term. And basically what it means is that is one of the chemicals in one of the naturally occurring chemicals we produce in our body that helps to detox our body. So we are exposed to toxins every day. Whether you try to eat healthy and organic all you can, we're exposed to toxins all the time. So great thing to do. My daughter does not like the smell of this, but we just put it on her feet and she's good to go. The orange, and orange is $10.75 a bottle wholesale. Okay, there's 3, and one of these is over the price that I'm mentioning, but RC and Breathe Again. So RC stands for respiratory congestion, and Breathe Again comes in a roll-on like this, and then Raven. And these are my 3 for any kind of respiratory issues. Peppermint in your kit is great for that as well if you have congestion. But these 3, not necessarily all of these, but one of these. And I show you all 3 of these because right now RC is out of stock, and so I have a lot of people panicking of, well, I need to get that. My children have colds a lot. You have other options. Raven, the 5 ml bottle, is actually the free gift this month if you spend 190, that would be nice, 190 PV in one single order. Breathe Again is also, so Breathe Again and RC are right around, they're $22, right around $22. Raven is a little more expensive, but again, it's a free gift this month. So get your 190 PV order and you'll get this free. A big bottle of this is actually around $34.75, so it's a very good oil too, not that much over that price. These are great for any kind of respiratory issues. Deep Relief, again, that's out of stock. I think it's coming back very soon. The Deep Relief is a roll-on as well. It comes like this. See my fingers there. And it is great for any kind of pain issues. This and Panaway are 2 of my favorites for any kind of muscle aches and pains. One of the things that this has that's different is Copaiba, which is great for inflammation. And so if that's part of the root cause, this can really help with that. What else is my favorite on here? Let's see. Okay, let's hit the ones that are, lemongrass. That's the one I had earlier. Lemongrass, not exactly my favorite smell, but this is a great oil for any kind of torn ligaments, sprained ligaments, or sprained muscles. I mean, it's great for any infections, and it is $11.25 a bottle. This is lemongrass I've used for different kinds of urinary tract infections in our family, so all different kinds of things we've used that for. Okay, of the ones that are more than $30 that we love, one of our favorites is Emmy Power. This one actually comes with a safety cap. That is because, let me get this one, but I believe it's because of the hyssop in there. A couple of these have safety caps. That does not mean that you should never ingest them. For wintergreen, for example, it's on there, wintergreen and Panaway, because you don't want to ingest it in high amounts. And so this is a safety cap. And I know, I'm not sure about with this one, but I know with wintergreen, it can smell like a candy to kids, and that's not something they need to ingest a lot of. So, and if you watch my intro class, I think I talked about that, I think. But Emmy Power is, my kids call this the stinky oil. And again, sometimes you'll hear from people, they say, well, our brand of oils smells sweet, and that's how you know an oil is pure. But really, that's not the way you know an oil is pure. This actually has cumin in it. Well, cumin, to me, the spice doesn't smell good, and so this smells like the spice. You want it to smell, and a peppermint leaf does not smell sweet in nature. It smells more minty, and so sweet is not necessarily an indicator of quality. But ImmuPower is a great one for this time of year when we're getting into the 6th season of the year. We use this on our feet. We do a technique that one of my friends that taught me about Young Living and is a local naturopath taught me, the cricket method. We actually put it on the arch of one foot and then rub it on the other foot. Rub the feet together like a cricket. That way you don't get your hands on it because we don't really like the smell. But it is that good and that potent of an immune booster that we do use it regardless of the smell. This is great. I had the flu a few years ago, and this and some other oils really helped me get through that. Brain Power, I mentioned that one. This is fantastic for anybody who has some trouble focusing. In adults even that just have that brain fog, it's great for oh, and the ImmuPower was the wholesale on that is $62.75, but that's for a big bottle. And again, it stinks. You don't really use it in the diffuser a lot. I don't. So we keep it for a long time. Brain Power. This is great for, it can actually has a lot of oils that has cedarwood in it, and frankincense, and sandalwood oils that are all high in that constituent I mentioned that can actually cross the blood-brain barrier and so really affect the brain. This has been, I have a daughter who has some learning challenges, and this has been huge for her. This is really, when we use this, we see big jumps in her attention and in her concentration and in her language usage. So really a favorite of mine. We use this on the big toe point and in the back of the neck. And those are good places to do that. That one wholesale price is $59.75. Digest. Some of you, if you're brand new, where's my Digest? Well, you'll just have to imagine that one. Oh no, here it is. Digest. Another little red bottle. Some of you, if you just ordered, got this in the kit as a substitution for purification, and you are very lucky to have that because this is a great blend for any kind of digestion issues. We had a little tummy bug in our house this week, and so we were using this in the room on her tummy, on her feet. Just a great blend. This is also really good for any kind of parasitic infections in your body. You can help kill parasites. And that wholesales for $32.75. Let's see, a couple other ones here I want to share with you. You know what? I think this is in my girl's bedroom. Oh, here it is. Rutavala is a blend. I said it's in my kid's bedroom because we put this on every night before bed because it helps you get not just get to sleep. Like peace and calming is great, and lavender great to help you get to sleep. Rutavala helps you get into that deep REM sleep, and so it's really important, especially if you are someone who can go to sleep fine but then wakes up in the middle of the night. That is a great oil for you. I know this has helped some friends whose kids have a lot of anxiety, maybe some OCD tendencies or some struggle with that. Another thing that this is good for is helping to regenerate nerves, and that can help regenerate nerves in the brain, specifically those that have been damaged due to mercury or other toxins. And that one comes in a roll. Actually, it comes in a roll-on and a 5 ml size. We get the roll-on just for ease of application, and it's right around I can't remember already, $32. Copaiba, I mentioned that one. I'm going to talk about some supplements. Copaiba is in deep relief. This is really, really powerful oil against inflammation. It is actually stronger than some steroids. So if you have inflammation in your body, which most of us do because of our diets, because of our standard American diet and the processed food, that is fantastic for inflammation. Any kind of chronic pain issues that involve inflammation, that would be really good for. Let's see. So some of my favorite supplements, I showed you this bottle just to show you what the V6 would look like, but this is OrthoSport. And this is a favorite of mine and several others. There's OrthoSport and there's OrthoEase. This is a much bigger bottle, as you can see, than the essential oil bottles. This is a massage blend. And so this actually has the essential oils in it, plus it's all carrier oil. This is, sometimes people shy away from this because they think, well, I don't have somebody doing massages on me all the time. This is just great to rub on. When you have an area of pain, like say a knee following, say knee surgery or something, and you've got an area of pain, you don't want to constantly be mixing up your oils maybe, or you want them to stretch for really far. Maybe you have maybe you work out a lot. I know gymnasts use this a lot because they have a lot of muscle soreness, and so this is a great thing to have on hand. Instead of mixing it up, you can just apply that to sore muscles, and it's fantastic. So I love all the massage oils, but this one especially. I'm sorry, I'm skipping around. I totally forgot one of the magical oils in our house, and I'm just going to briefly mention this. I totally forgot this one, so I had it front and center. White Angelica. This is a huge one for one of our daughters who used to, not as much, throw huge tantrums. This is peace and calming, and your kid is great for that too, but for her this was huge for her. It helps to dispel that negative energy. It can help bring her back from a tantrum within 5 minutes. So that's all I'm going to say about this, but great, great oil too. Sorry about that. Okay, Emmy Pro. This is a supplement, and this is something we give to our daughter who has a little bit of insomnia or has that insomnia at night. This is a blend of different, has oils, and all of the supplements from Young Living are blended with oils, and so that helps them be more effective. They're infused with oils. That helps them be more effective because the oils can get into your cells, and thus they can take the supplements in there as well. And I see it's 9. We're going to wrap this up pretty quickly. And if y'all have questions, make sure you're typing them in so I can answer those. This is a blend of different proprietary immune blend. It also has a little amount of melatonin in there. And for whatever reason, this has been huge for her in getting to sleep. And we actually had tried melatonin in the past, kind of cautiously because I've heard mixed reviews on that. Didn't do anything for her. This was huge. So we call this candy. It is, I actually am out right now. A little desperate. You can see it's empty. But it comes in a little chewable capsule. It tastes pretty good. If you want to, you can even cut it in half with a pill cutter and make it last even longer. But that's worked for us too. Let's see real quick. Inner Defense. This is a favorite of ours going into this time of year as well. You can make your own capsules like this. It's just a blend of oils. It's got coconut oil, it's got clove, lemon, actually thieves, sorry. It's got the thieves blend, oregano, and then thyme and lemongrass as well. So you can add those in there if you don't have these. And maybe you have all those oils, you can make your own. You just don't want to pre-fill them. These actually are gel caps, and they're already pre-filled, and so they're a special kind of capsule that don't dissolve. I mean, they'll dissolve in your body, but they're not going to dissolve with the oils. If you fill the other kind of capsules I showed you with an essential oil, it's going to eat through that, and so you're going to have a big mess of oils and plastic from the capsule, or the vegetable material that it's made from. So you want to make sure not to pre-fill those with oils. But these are already pre-filled, that Inner Defense. It's a great, we don't use that as prevention. We use that whenever we have a sickness coming on. We hit that hard in the beginning. We use those pretty frequently. For my husband and I. My daughter does not swallow my kids don't swallow capsules, unfortunately. We're working on that. Let me see what else I have out here. I think that is all that I have. I see one question there. Oh, I forgot. Sorry, scatterbrain here. Forgot to show you my favorite thing for storing things. Sorry, I've got everything around here. This is a carrying case. This is just one of many. Let's see, I don't want to drop my stuff out of here. It holds the oils in there. If I can get it in the light. It has little pockets right here. There's these little pockets, mesh pockets, and it holds your oils. It can hold 10 oils here, but you can cram a lot more in. I cram some roll-ons here in the bottom. I would take my carrier oil and stick that in there as well. You can even get oils in between there and then close it. This is great handy to put in your purse, and this is just a great way to carry them. I like to travel with this. I actually have 2 for if I need to take a lot of oils, if I'm traveling via plane or something, I'll have these. So this is the and this is the Aroma Ready case, this particular one. There's several other ones on Abundant Health for You. You can even get on, there's a lot of people who have used their talents and made things on Etsy. They've made bags on there. There's even one, and it's called Armed Not Dangerous, I believe. I'll put the link for that because I love their cases. It's a hardback case and has inserts for oils in there. So lots of different ways to transport your oils. One thing I will do later is I'll go through, and all these products that I mentioned, I will, in the comments, type up the item number from where I got them for at least example. I'm not going to give all the different ones for like the sample size, but I'll give you an example of that so you can see where to find that there. Okay, let's take this question. See if I can do this right. The question is, and you may be able to see this, so if you do, I'm sorry, I'm going to read it again. What is the name of the oil for inflammation? And that was Copaiba. And I'm going to spell that. It's C-O-P. I'll let you see it here. I'll put it up on the screen here. C-O-P-A-I-B-A. That is one that I just kind of just didn't say for a while because I didn't know how to pronounce it until I had somebody from a South American country where that's actually distilled tell me how to say that. So I think I'm saying it right. But that is fantastic for okay, I'm selecting it here. That's fantastic for inflammation. A lot of the oils actually are good against inflammation, but this is one of my favorite ones for that. So, any other questions? I'm going to try to think if there's something else I want to share with you that I've forgotten. I will show you one other thing that I like while I wait to see if there's any other questions. And I'll wait just a little bit here because of the delay, so if there's any other questions, feel free to post those now. This is another little plastic bottle I got, and what I made in here, you can see there's a label. This is a different kind of label that Abundant Health carries. This is actually not purification in here, but that was the closest thing. This is a bug spray that I made up to send to camp with my daughter. And I didn't put any alcohol in here, so you probably can't see on the video, but the oils are just sitting on the top there. So before I use it, give it a shake, and it disperses them throughout that, and then we would use this to spray on. And I just put that because the main thing in there is purification. There's some other oils too, but put that on there. Let's see. Goodness gracious, my little mess here. What else do I have to show you? I think that's all. So I'll wait about another maybe minute or so if there's another question. If not, then we'll go ahead and sign off, and I will get to work editing this video so I can get you those links and different things on there. And feel free, if you guys, if you found this through the Facebook event, feel free to post questions on there after the fact. In fact, maybe even if you go and watch the video, if you're watching this tomorrow and you're watching it live, feel free to go back and post questions on there, and I'll try to get to those as I can. You can also comment on the Facebook video. I think I should be able to enable comments on there. Again, not very techy here. And I can try to answer those questions as best as I can as well to point you to different things. And there is no question too silly, too stupid, too dumb. I get those all the time, but this is just a dumb question. But we've all had those questions. We've all learned the hard way. So hopefully sharing some of my experiences tonight and what I've learned, some of it the hard way, will help you in your journey. And I hope you enjoy your oils and really have lots of oily successes. If you are on that Facebook event, I'll leave it up for a while. Love for you to share some successes on there. Love for you to comment on any of my Facebook videos and share how the oils are helping your family. So, all right, I don't see any more questions, so I think we'll sign off for tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and you can join me again for the next one. I hope to do a series of these. I'd like to do one coming soon on like immune oils specific to how to protect your family in this cold and flu season, and how to keep your family healthy. And then hopefully we'll do just, I don't know, several other series. Oh, I see another question real quick. Okay, and I actually want to talk about this. This one is, what about clear versus colored bottles? That's a good question. I have people that say, well, I can't buy, like you saw tonight, I put it in my case. You saw I showed you a clear roll-on that I use. You can see through it. A lot of people are afraid to use those because you don't want the oils to be exposed to sunlight, and so they do make, like the ones that come from Living are amber colored, and you can buy amber colored. You can actually buy fun colors on Abundant Health for You. I have some purplish pink ones for one daughter who likes that, and then I have blue for the other daughter. I get the clear ones because I never keep them, I don't leave them out on my counter. They typically are in here, and then it's closed, so it's dark. And so that's just my own personal opinion on that. Some people are purists and say they need to have a amber colors or a dark bottle, but that's kind of how I feel. One other thing I thought of as I was answering that, and then I'll go ahead and sign off, is people ask a lot about mixing blends, because you can read in some of the books and it says you should never mix blends, like never mix, say, Thieves and Peace and Calming together. There's different thoughts on that. If you're a true true purist on that, you would say never mix them in a roller bottle, never mix them in the diffuser. What a purist maybe would say is you can layer them, which is a great way. I mean, I do that as well. Where layering means you put one oil on first. So say you put like peppermint, or actually you probably want to save the peppermint for last. I'll tell you why. You might want to put Thieves on first, and then let's say your cedarwood, and then put on your peppermint last. Peppermint and copaiba are two that help drive the oil farther into the body, and so they're great to put on top. But when you layer, I think the recommendations are to put one on and then put another one on a minute later. I don't always wait that long because I'm impatient, so that is a good way to do it if you really don't want to mix them. I will say that I mix them in the diffuser, and I haven't had I've still had great results with that. Technically, when you put two blends together, you have created a totally separate blend, and these blends were formulated for a specific purpose, to have by experts who know which oils really blend together and have that synergistic effect when they're not just single anymore, but then they're a blend. So technically, you're getting a different effect. We've had good luck, and I just personally will mix the blend. So just thoughts on that. So, all right, well, thank you for joining us, and I will see you guys next time. Have a great night. Bye-bye.